episode of Confidence Culture Conversations. And today we're going to have an interesting conversation. So get ready, get ready. Hope we can hear something from you as we get into the conversation. But before we go into the conversation, how are you doing? Kirubai, how are you?
Well, I am doing well, enjoying the weather, enjoying some great sun. But sadly, I just got back rushing through in the rush hour, in the tube. I am a little flustered, but you know what? I can't let myself, can't let you down, can't let our viewers down. I am on the ball here, happy to be together with my co host, our thriving coach, Elizabeth Olijimi. And I'm here. I'm just taking a breather, but I'll get on the ball soon.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, it's good to have you here as always. So, how I guess for everyone watching, how has your week been? Before we get into the bulk of today's conversation, we just like to check in with everybody, see how everybody's doing. So, how are you? If you are on there, please just let us know in the chat section how you are. Um, Here in the UK, we're okay. It's gonna be cooler, just a little bit. On on Sunday, we got to about 30 degrees. I was
Yes.
like, okay, okay. So it was warm, and you know what? I think I had one of the best Saturdays ever. So our church had organized for the different branches to meet together and do some family time.
Oh, lovely.
So we went to Hyde Park and had
Oh,
a picnic, or our version
wonderful.
of a picnic anyway. So it was nice to sit under the sun and just, enjoy. Um,
Good.
it was perfect for the day because it was a nice sunny day, so it worked
Mhm.
out really nice. So that was exciting, and then we got to do something that we had never done before. We went
What
on
was
the
that?
paddle boats.
Huh?
We went on the paddle boats in Hyde Park.
Oh, okay. At the Serpentine.
Yes,
All right.
so that was amazing. That was a new experience. Enjoyed
Mhm.
it. We were on the water for about an hour, which was really nice. It was
And cooling yourself down. Water always cools you down, and water
absolutely.
is fun.
Absolutely. So that was nice. So honestly, if you are in the UK, don't complain about the weather. Just find a way of enjoying it. Find
Mhm.
a way to work with the weather. Honestly, you won't regret it. And for those that have hay fever, I feel for you
Mhm.
because I sneeze quite a bit sometimes with the hay fever. But it's not so bad. I know some people who are having it really rough, but yes, all the best. Have the right meds that you need to have.
When the sun comes out, the pollen also, it's on the rise and it flies. And I know I feel for those who are really, sneezing and, teary eyes.
Mhm.
But, there's always a way around it.
There is, there is. So, on to today's conversation. But actually, before we go into today's conversation, um,
Hmm.
we've got an event coming up on Thursday. We've got an event coming up on Thursday. And let me see if I can find the flyer on here. It is literally called Being Christian Entrepreneurs. And it is on Thursday, 9:15 to 4:45, and it's £45 per person. All you need to do is to go on Eventbrite to register. And if I'm able to, I will play the video later on as we go on in our conversation. I'll play the video just so you can get some more information about it. So, last week we talked about being authentic, showing up as your authentic self and not hiding away. And today we're sliding into this conversation of comparison. Are you comparing yourself? And do you know what? I think we all fall foul to this comparison thing every so often, and you
Hmm.
have to just literally rear yourself back, bring yourself back again, and remind yourself that actually, I don't need to compare myself. I don't need to. I've had it said before that the only person you need to compare yourself to is your version of yesterday. So
Mm.
it's yourself, but the you that you were a year ago.
Yes.
So instead of me comparing myself to Kirubai, for example, rather I compare myself to who I was
1 year ago,
1 year ago, 5
6 months
months
ago.
ago, 10 years ago, even,
Hmm.
as opposed to comparing myself to Kirubai. And I get that, because when you think about it, we're all on different paths in life. We're all on different paths in life. We all encounter different things. So if I'm comparing myself to you, how's that going to work? Because technically, you and me have experienced life in different ways. We're not experiencing life the same way. You and me. So when I compare myself to you, it doesn't help me. It doesn't help me.
I think we fall short because it's human nature to
Mm.
do that.
Hmm.
Don't you think so, Elizabeth?
No, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
it's inherently, I think it's kind of, I wouldn't use the word supernatural, but inherently, it's part of us. And being intentional, again, the word intentional, being aware, self-awareness, and trying to work things around this human nature that is so negative, because it can just pull you down comparing yourself to someone else.
Mm.
And it actually gives you a false standard, a false measure.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually falsehood to the maximum when you start comparing yourself.
Wow.
And when I saw and I was pondering and reflecting on the word falsehood,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked what you said, Elizabeth. You know, we all, some point or other in our lives, we compare ourselves. I think let's not mistake role modeling and comparing. It's totally a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Today we are not talking about role models. We want to be like our role models. It's nothing
Mm.
wrong with that. Emulate our role models, which is great. But even our role models have things, negativities, have certain things that we can't role model. So we
Mm.
need to take the good and leave the bad behind. But comparing yourself to others who don't have any relevance to our lives, I think it's a no-no,
Mm.
because it's totally false standard. And as I was reading about comparing, a lot of blogs and write-ups, they talk about this has been on the rise now because of social media.
Oops. Okay. Okay. Let's go there.
Let's go there. So I was reading a lot of the blogs are actually, I mean, of course, they talk about the good of social media, and Elizabeth, of recent, has been driving this message home, which she is driving it, and I really appreciate the fact that she's driving it to a point of waking up Christian women. But in general, globally, social media has caused a lot of, it's a good tool, but it can also stop someone else from walking into, or
Mm.
start comparing, or walking into the things that they want to achieve. And this is all about self-worth. Somebody who's got no self-worth watches social media. Oh, I would like, initially, Elizabeth, I had to check myself, but you know what, that is not going to stop me from what I need to do.
Mm.
That's the message you are bringing forth, a very positive note.
Yeah. It's the thing with social media. It can be your worst enemy,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be your best weapon.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you how you use it. And I totally like see where you're coming from, in the sense that people go on there and they end up comparing themselves a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, we hear some very negative stories.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things that you come on there and you see somebody's living their best life, and you're like, why am I not living my best life? and so you want to engineer your best life, but you don't know what that person has gone through to
Mhm.
get to that stage. You know, there's a lady that I was reading her story, and she was talking about how a few years ago she became an influencer because she was talking about all this weight loss stuff, and you know, and she talked about how she would go and post all these nice pictures. Why? Because she wanted to show that she was living
Motivate.
her
Yeah.
best life.
Mhm.
But then she said in the midst of that, she went through the worst mental issues.
Mhm.
She went through some issues that really affected her mentally, that she then started to lose weight. She started to hate her body. Yet that was the very thing that was making her famous, how she looked. And then she started like really she literally lost weight to the point that she was sick. It was an issue, and she had to do something about it. So social media can really, and maybe we'll have a conversation on social media, because this is not the social media conversation. But in terms of comparisons, yes, it can make us look at other people. You know, you literally go on your phone, and in a few seconds you've seen that so and so has posted a picture, they're enjoying a holiday somewhere, and you look at yourself, you probably look at your husband, and you're like, when was the last time you took me on holiday? Because you know, so and so is going on holidays, taking their family on holiday. You look at it and you compare yourself to, as they say, the Jonases. You compare yourself to the Jonases next door, but you don't know what they're going through, or you don't know what their journey has been to get to where they're at. So for some people, you might see them doing really well, but you don't know the pain. They're not sharing the painful moments. So when you compare yourself, be very careful, because you don't know the sweat and tears that has gone into that person showing up the way that they're showing up.
Mhm.
So it's good to look at somebody and want to learn from them, want to emulate certain things, but don't look at it from the perspective of, I must be like this person. So look and glean, look and learn, but don't look and try and be the exact carbon copy, because guess what? There is only one Elizabeth Olujimi out there. There might be someone called Elizabeth Olujimi, but there is no Elizabeth Olujimi who talks like me, who smiles like me, who, you know, who speaks like me. There isn't. There isn't, guaranteed. Go and search. You will search high and low. Find one. I'll give you some money. Find one and I'll give you some money, right? Let's do that. But honestly, and there is only one Kirubai out there. There is no other version of you. You are unique. You are very specific. God was very intentional in the way He created you. So when you compare yourself and you want to be like other people, it's in a way, it's also a disservice to God. You're saying, God, I don't like
The way I look, the way you
like
created me.
I don't like the me that you created. I want to be someone else. But He saw need for you and He created you. Think on that. Think on that.
You know, there is a saying in our Tamil language. It says, um, you know, they always, when they want to drive a point home with a younger person, they'll say, "I've eaten more salt than you."
Mm,
So when I think about that saying, that description, I think about, you know, as an older person will have more experience, maybe they work through their lives, they would have more money, pension, or even, you know, they are, well, let's say, well settled, traveled, well settled. And a young person can't can't be envious or jealous about what this older person has achieved, because there is a journey from point A to point B. You can look and learn, but don't be jealous and envious. There's something that we need to be conscious about, these ill feelings that we carry that will destroy us.
mm. And you know what, we see it a lot in business, we see it a lot in relationships, we
Yeah.
see it a lot in ministry, we see it a lot literally in so many places. This comparison thing rears its head, and it's something that individually we need to be able to deal with,
Yeah.
because there will be a voice in your head that will say, look at so and so. You know, there's some wives that torment their husbands because they're like, look at where your friend is.
Yes.
Look at what your friend is doing. What are you doing? You know, and that comparison needs to end.
And it
You know,
starts
your
a big
husband, your
rift.
spouse
Yeah.
cannot be like the other person.
Yeah.
For all you know, you might be comparing yourself to somebody who's beating up his wife. For all you know.
Hidden hidden wife better.
Yeah, and sometimes like you might be looking at someone and thinking that they're doing well, and yet they're making their money from doing some dodgy business. Want to do some dodgy business.
Mm-hmm.
So because we have that a lot on social media, some people who are very flashy, but they're actually doing some dodgy business behind the scenes. That's how they're paying for their flashy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so you look at them, you want to be flashy like them, but actually they're paying a price. They're paying the price of their soul. They're selling their souls.
And integrity is compromised, huh?
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
Mm.
You know, so we have to be careful. I remember going to the pastors at the TDJX Pastors and Leaders Conference a few years ago, and one of the speakers said something. This was probably on the last night that he was speaking, and he mentioned something that really got me thinking. It got me to think. He said, you know, at this event, you've probably met some pastors, met some leaders, and one of the first few questions has been, "Oh, hi, how are you? Where are you from? What's the name of your church? What's the size of your church?" And you know, for those of you that have small in number churches, you're probably looking at yourself and thinking, "Oh no, I'm not as big as these people are." And so it's easy to compare yourself to other people in the room. But
Mhm.
do you know what? You are there for a reason. So don't disqualify yourself just because you are comparing yourself. So when you go into a room, when God gives you access into a particular room, and it might be a room where you are in corridors of power, it might be a boardroom where you feel so underqualified, but the fact that you are there means you qualify to be there. The fact that you have been given access to that room means you qualify to be there. So don't write yourself off because you're comparing yourself to the other people in the room, because you're looking at them, you're looking at their qualifications, you're looking at their expertise, you're looking at their experience, and you're looking at yourself and saying, I don't deserve this.
Mm.
You are there, so you deserve it. You deserve to be there. And that's what comparison will do. Comparison will break your confidence. Comparison will make you seem small, because it's rare that we compare ourselves and have a big head. It's
Yeah.
most times we compare ourselves and we look down on ourselves. We undermine ourselves.
Yeah, well, that's a right word. Undermining yourself. And let me push this point a little further. Actually, comparison actually knocks your confidence down.
Mm.
And you know, our conversations are always centered around confidence, and it really rips you off of your confidence, because as you compare two, comparison is actually about two people, or it can be more than two people. When you compare and the place where you are in. And I like what Elizabeth you said. It kind of knocks you off your balance, because
Mm.
if you are moving forward and you start comparing yourself, it pushes you back to 3 or 4 steps backwards. And once you go backwards, and it's like a place of darkness,
Yeah.
and it's not good at all.
Mm.
And those things at the background, you know, you can sit and reflect and say, oh, I should have, I shouldn't have. You know, you start comparing your times and your seasons. I think that is a good place. You know, for me, I think it's a good place. You compare times and season, oh, I didn't do this, but I should have. That is also a very good positive comparison. But if it pushes you to move forward, what you fail, you move forward. I think that is a good point to take it on. But comparing, oh, it's a very negative word. For me,
Mhm.
I think it's a negative word. You understand what I'm saying? Comparing, it's like if you're comparing something in the past, it's like reflection. It's a
Mm.
reflection, but it moves you to do the right thing or to walk through those things that you need to do in the future. That's good. It motivates you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone to do better things. It's great. But in general, the word comparison is actually a very challenging negative word.
Mm.
Mm. And
Yeah,
it's
no, this.
criticizing. Sorry, you're criticizing yourself. You keep criticizing, and whenever you're criticizing yourself, you're bringing negativity into yourself.
Mm. Absolutely, you're absolutely right, and very very spot on there, because when you mentioned earlier on about, like, with social media and how, like, we compare ourselves on social media, and it just got me thinking that it highlights the issues that we have to deal with on a personal level.
Mm,
So when you compare yourself and you start feeling inferior, you start to realize that there's something that you yourself have to deal with.
mm,
Like, there's a belief system you need to deal with. There's a way, the option of yourself that
mm,
you need to deal with, and whether it's, get rid of a particular way of thinking,
mm.
is what you need to do, because, like I said, you don't always know somebody's journey. You
That's a
don't
good
know what they
point.
have been through to get where they are.
Mm,
You don't know the price that has been paid.
mm,
So instead of comparing, just learn what you need to learn.
mm,
Learn what you can learn from them, because you can sit there and compare yourself to somebody, and you will limit yourself from showing up as your authentic self.
mhm,
So comparison can limit your authenticity. It can stop you from just being yourself, because you want to be like somebody else. You
mhm,
want to speak like them. You
mm,
want to show up like them.
mhm.
So people don't necessarily get a version of you, they're getting a watered down version of somebody else.
That's right.
Don't deny the world of the source that you carry. Don't deny the world of the fire that you carry. Don't deny the world of the treasure and the light that you carry, because there is something unique that we all carry. And I want us to start to see that about ourselves, to start to see that there is something unique, there is something pleasurable that you carry as a woman, as an individual. There is something that you carry that you can't water down. You
I, I,
can't.
yeah, carry on. Sorry, can't water down. It's. I was just thinking of our last week's conversation about how you don't like to wear wigs. You are very comfortable in showing your your naked face, and that brings out your authenticity. And you know, coming back to hair, I was frowned upon when I wanted to go gray.
Mm,
And many people said, "Hey, you can't do that. You're still young." I said, "I want to be different and I want to be authentic in my own self." But others, will see you differently. You're a stylist, but you're going gray. I say, I can't keep coloring my hair till I go 70, 80. And I wanted, and 60 was a good time to step in.
come on.
Yeah, come on now. So, it's something that I had to confidently say, okay, Kirubai, look at the mirror. You are turning 60 and you're turning 60 an awesome 60. And you can go gray and hair doesn't play a part at all.
Mm,
And that's the same way you don't want to wear a wig and you look great.
mm.
You want to, you
Thank
look,
you, thank you,
yeah,
thank
you
you.
look great and you look comfortable. You look comfortable, and that's the important part. Let's not follow the world.
Mm.
Let's not follow the world.
I like that. And I think in the world that we live in today, there's a lot of copycat syndrome. There's
Mm,
a lot of I want to be like this person, so I'm going to copy them. And sometimes in the world of fake it till you make it, they encourage you to do that. But there comes a point where you have to find you,
mm,
where you have to find your authentic self and thrive in being you, thrive in showing up as you.
mhm,
Like in business, for example, we who are in the coaching world, the coaching space is so saturated. There's so many coaches out there. Like, honestly, you look on social media and everyone is a coach. Everyone is a coach. But you know what? Not everyone can make the same impact as you on the people that you touch, the people that you speak to, the people that you connect with. So don't hide who you are. Don't hide. There's some things about you. Embrace those things. Don't hide them. Embrace them and thrive with them. Shine with them because they make you who you are, and they draw people like you to you. They draw people who will connect to you on that basis. People are not connecting to you because you sound like someone else. They're connecting to you because of you, because of what you're bringing, because of what you carry. Comparison is going to rob you of your confidence.
mhm.
It will. It
Totally,
will.
totally.
And when I think about this sometimes, like from a Bible perspective, I think about David.
And
When David,
Saul.
when not even on Saul, but when David came to fight Goliath,
Mm.
and they say to David, first of all, they told him, "Nah, you small boy, you can't do this." And then they said they gave him an armor to wear, and he just couldn't. It was like it was wearing him. It was too big. They wanted him to look like somebody. They
Somebody.
wanted him to look like something. They wanted him to be a version of
Mm.
something. But he was like, no, that's not what I'm used to. He brought out the sling and the stone. He's like, this is me. This
Whoop.
is me being my authentic self. And what happened? He was able to defeat the giant
Mhm,
by
mhm,
showing up as his authentic self, and
mhm.
the courage that he had. We all need the courage that David had, because there are going to be Goliaths along the way, and Saul's armor is not going to help you to defeat your Goliath. It
Mm.
is going to be the tools that you are used to, the tools that God has taken you through in the wilderness, the tools that he has trained you with. Those tools are the ones you're going to have to use.
Amen. That's so true. So specific to you. The tools that are specific. For me, I always think of that five stones as the grace God has given each one of us.
Mm.
The different five prongs of grace that God has given us. And yeah, that's a great example. And I was thinking of David and Saul. Saul was so envious and jealous of David, and he kept going on and on and on chasing David. And I know, I mean, if I was David, I would have surrendered. But David never gave up. He
Mm.
hid. He didn't want to kill Saul. He ran after. He could have killed him. He had all the armory with him. He had
Mm.
the skills. He could have used the sling and the stone and killed Saul, but he didn't. And he didn't. And but you know what? He respected Saul and the position he was in, because Saul was also, he was the king.
Mm.
And that's a great story. Thank you for reminding me of David and Goliath. And then now, I'm thinking of Saul. And we do have Sauls in our lives, that we all have Sauls that come after us. And
Even, and it's interesting because there's so many like stories that we could glean from the Bible where there is potential for comparison. I mean, Mary could have compared herself to Elizabeth.
mhm, mhm,
They could have. but they both realize that we are carrying something unique and something special. So
Mhm.
your vision, your dream that God has called you to birth is unique, it's special to you. You
Mm.
don't have to compare it with the dream that God has given your sister, or the person whose ministry you're following. You don't have to compare it to their dream. God is calling you. He's setting you apart to birth something very unique to you. It doesn't have to be similar. It doesn't have to be similar. Because you know what? When you compare yourself, one of the things that's going to happen is you're going to stop yourself from making progress. Because you will say, wait, but what God is calling me to do looks like that thing that I already see. So there's no point me starting it. And then you won't start when God wants you to start. Oh my days, I'm speaking to myself right there. But seriously, when you compare yourself, it limits you, it slows you down from birthing the things that God wants you to birth. And if you're watching today, there's a couple of people watching, please let us know in the chat, what are some of the things that comparison has robbed you of, or how has it made you feel in times past where you have compared yourself?
Mhm.
Because it's something that we all go through. When I started my business, I had to stop myself from comparing. I had to remind myself that, Elizabeth, what you're offering is different. Even till today, I still have to remind myself that what you're offering is different. The people that you're speaking to are different. So
Mm.
yes, you might not be making the money that other people are making, or you might not be, sharing on social media, showing up on social media like this, but the way you're doing it is reaching somebody.
That's one of those positive things is you have to keep challenging your thoughts,
Mm,
you know, and decide to do certain things differently. Like Elizabeth has her ways, I have my way, because we have different grace God has given us, and like what you said, that we might not be making that money yet, but one day it will come, because it's still a journey.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I think what God has deposited or downloaded as dreams and visions, and when we take it and look at it, we can't compare.
Mm,
Remember we were doing that vision board a couple of months ago at the Kingdompreneurs
goodness.
Network. I think I had such great fun, because everybody was so unique and different with their vision. Everybody, we were sharing our vision, and everyone, even little Janaya, she and Shasha, both of them did their own vision boards, but everyone had different visions of what God was downloading to them. I think it
Mm.
is great. But if I look at Janaya wanted this big car. And I was saying, oh, Janaya, can you drive it? She said, soon. She told me that. But you know what? I hate big cars.
I
Because
love big cars. Give me a big car any day.
I hate it, because you know what? I find driving in the UK, the roads are so narrow. I come from a country where we have
Space.
wide, like the freeway, the highway is like the United States, and it's so comfortable to drive. But here the roads are so narrow. So I said, no, big cars is not my cup of tea. So, when somebody drives a big car, you say, oh, I admire, oh, lovely car, but not for me.
And that's it. I think what comparison should do, as opposed to making you feel like you have not arrived,
Yeah,
it should help you to
motivate.
realize who you are, what your values are, what your identity is, and help you to be more rooted and
Mhm.
more established in those things. So helping you to be more authentic in yourself. Because you can look around and say that we all need to be the same, but actually we don't, because there's someone that you need to we can't all be Action Jackson, we can't all be Michelle, we can't all be like we have to be ourselves. I can't come on the stage and and speak like, someone else. I have to speak like me, what I'm comfortable with. And yes, stretch myself out of my comfort zone, grow myself, but growing myself to the point that I'm not losing my authenticity. I'm not losing who I really am. So in everything that you are doing, whether it's relationships, whether it's business, whether it's just doing life, don't lose yourself in the midst of those things. Don't lose yourself because you're too busy trying to copycat somebody,
Emulate someone
trying to
else.
be like somebody. It's like you're wearing a mask, and people can never connect with the true version of who you are.
Talking about Action Jackson, Mr. Happiness Man, he took the Kingdompreneur Summit to another level this year. I was in stitches, but you know what? He spoke from his heart. I wanted to send him a message. If you see him, or
Please do send him a message.
he was, compared to last year, he was in a different space this year. He was so real, so relatable, and hilarious. And that was I personally, I was sitting there and I said, "Oh, OMG, look at Action Jackson." He was on the ball, Elizabeth.
Honestly, we thank God for that. And probably now is a good time to plug in the event that we mentioned earlier on that we have coming up on Thursday.
Mhm.
And I'm going to play a video. Let me try and play a video. Just bear with me. I'm playing about with technology. So there'll be a video playing in just a moment. Let's see.
Awesome.
So that was for the event that's happening on Thursday with One Rock International, and Kingdompreneurs Summit is, tagging along on this one. As Kingdompreneurs Network, should I say, is tagging along on this one as well. It's going to be an amazing event. We have some amazing speakers with loads of expertise that are going to be in the room. And aside from that, obviously, you get to network with some amazing people as well. So I've shared the link. Please register. Click the link and register. There's still some spaces left. And, when you register, the price for registration is inclusive of a meal. So come ready to just mix, engage, learn, and have something to eat. You don't have to fast all day, right? You don't have to fast all day.
So, Elizabeth, what are you speaking on? Are you going to show? Is it a secret?
I'm gonna keep it a secret. But don't worry, I'll bring the fire. I'll bring the fire like I usually do. So that's the main thing you have to bear in mind, that the fire will be there. But I'm not gonna let you know because it's me and Tunji doing this one. We're doing a tag team kind of thing. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, that's good.
It should be good. So if you haven't registered, please register, share the link with someone else. It is a day of the week, so if it's not easy to get time off, that's understandable. But if you know someone who might be able to attend, please share the information with them. We would love for you to join us. So that's happening on Thursday. It's an all-day event. If you want more information, please feel free to get in touch with either myself or with Kirubai, and the information should also be on our social media pages.
Yeah, that's right. And
I'm
I'm
looking
looking
forward to it.
forward. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to connecting and just just being in the room and receiving all the vibes and
And
energy.
we've got a team coming from Chick-fil-A.
Yep, from
So
the
the
US.
Americans are in the house.
Okay.
So
From
they'll
the
be
US.
sharing some amazing things about running a faith-based brand,
Mm.
which is doing amazingly well. So make sure you register.
So, are we, in conclusion, we were talking about challenging your thoughts about comparison, and I think has to be intentional when these thoughts come. We have to spot it first, and then squash it and let it go and move on.
Mm,
So, I think spotting it might be a challenge because these are things that work in your mind, your mindset. It just plays. It's like a an old record. It keeps going and going and going and going. So you need to spot it first.
mm,
I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Being very open. Spot it, squash it, and let it go and say, hey, I've got positive thoughts about me. I'm confident enough to carry the vision God has put in my heart to touch,
mm.
because there are people already assigned to Elizabeth, there are people assigned to me,
That's
there are
it.
people assigned to you who are watching.
Mm,
So we need to be very focused and say, how am I going to reach out to these people that is assigned to me to touch lives?
that's it.
So I think that's my 2 cents word today.
Yeah, no, it's very true. I think you can either allow comparison to limit you and allow it to affect your confidence, but if you want to go far in life, if you want to be successful, if you want to thrive in the things that you are doing, then you have to learn to look beyond comparison. You have to learn to rise above comparison. You have to realize that there is something very special and unique about you, and that's what you need to thrive with. That's what you need to run with, and stop comparing yourself, because we're all on different paths.
Mhm.
Yes, our goals might look similar, but how we get there is going to look different.
Yeah.
How we get there is going to look different.
So Elizabeth, I have to have this final word here. No, if somebody comes with you with this issue as a coach, if somebody comes and gets some buys some coaching package with you, how would you help that person overcome comparison, imposter syndrome,
So
struggling with masks? Those things that you struggle with.
for me, one of the major things is realizing you
Mhm,
and celebrating you. So finding who you are
mhm,
and being unashamedly yourself. That's one of the things that I'm very big on, and it's very evident in my coaching. My coaching is not necessarily very sort of broad. I try and be very specific with the people that I'm working with, the people that I'm dealing with, and I make it suit them, in the sense that it's about you. It's not about what I think of you. It's about you and how you want to grow, how you want to develop. But I need you to be able to see the beauty in you, to see to see what you're holding, to see what you are grasping. I
mhm.
need you to be able to see that. And it's interesting that you asked the question about that, because a few weeks ago I was running a mastermind with a lady in America, signed up, and yes, I put it out there. Only one person signed up, which is fine, because I took her on a one-on-one journey,
Mm.
which was actually really amazing. And when that journey finished, she had so many amazing things to say about the journey that I took her on. And for me, the best part about the things she had to say was she discovered things about herself. So
Mhm.
it wasn't that I came in and did this, did that, but it was that I helped her to see things about herself. So for me, that's very key, which is why there's a huge emphasis on celebrating yourself. But
Mhm.
I want you to be unashamedly you. Stop being embarrassed of who you are. Stop
Mhm.
being embarrassed of the way you look, the way you sound. Stop it. Stop it. Just be you and love yourself. You know, there are times I look in the mirror and I tell myself I love you because it's something that I practice myself. It's I want this young lady to know that she is loved.
Mhm.
I want her to know that she's amazing, she's beautiful. And so for all of us, we need to be able to see the beauty in us. Stop overly criticizing yourself. Stop looking down on yourself. Stop calling yourself a grasshopper when no one else has even given you that label. Stop taking the label upon yourself. And
Take
yes,
them.
people might have said certain things about you, but doesn't mean that you live up to their sayings about you.
Mhm.
You own who you are and shine in it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Your coaching is it's unique. It's unique. I take myself to a different level on coaching. I work with insecurities in the air. How did these insecurities come into
Mm,
being? And a lot of it is stemmed from family and the people that are around them. So I break it down even further. And most of the time, pray with them. If they're non-Christians, I just talk to them the different steps that I take them through to let go, to get those ash clothings off and to put on the garment, the colorful garment, when then I will take them through color personality and how you can enhance yourself. Because when you carry a lot of insecurities and crap in your soul, and one of those insecurities is comparing.
mm,
So, and that's how I help my coaching clients. I break it down one by. So I prefer to do one by one, which is fine. It's time consuming, but it's fun.
mm.
Yeah. So yes, that's we you see the end result is to have a confident person, but your line of approach is different to my line of approach. That
Absolutely.
is so unique in ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
So as we finish, right, I'm gonna do a shameless plug because I'm not ashamed to plug my own stuff in there. But so in the month of July, I want to help some women to, particularly Christian women, to
mhm,
start showing up consistently on social media. And
mhm,
there's a couple of reasons why I really want to do this and why I'm really specific to Christian women, because Christian women, you are on my heart, but more importantly, because you have a responsibility to show up and help the next generation, to show up and help, other sisters or other people that might need your help, but you've never met them, so you don't know that they exist, but they're out there. They need your help, but until you show up on social media, they can't connect with you. So I'm looking for Christian women that are ready to start taking steps so that they can show up consistently. And it's going to be a challenge that I'm setting you and me for the month of July, where we show up consistently every day. And it might be in, written pictures, it might be in video, whatever it is, but we are going to show up consistently. And if you register, so I'm going to share a video. For those that register, you get to be part of a Facebook group. So we form a community of Christian women who are encouraging each other, lifting each other up, and pushing each other to go out there and be the best that we can be. To show up and shine is literally what we are doing. So I'm going to play a video for you. Um, and this is literally the sort of promo video for it. Are you a Christian woman struggling to show up consistently on social media? I would love to help you. God has not called us to light our candle and hide it. He wants us to be able to shine the light in the world. Some of us like to say that there is so much evil on social media. How about you be the person that is championing good on social media? How about you start to shine your light on social media? In the month of May, one of my mentors challenged me and he said, I want you to produce a video every single day and share on social media for 31 days. I did it and I was amazed to see the visibility had increased on my page. It had grown. So I want to help you. Over the month of July, for 31 days, show up on social media consistently. Once we can get that consistency in, we can help you to keep going with it. I would love to help you. All you need to do is register today. It's going to be $31, $1 a day to help you, to hold you accountable and to share with you tips that will help you to show up consistently, because God needs you to shine your light. There is someone across the globe, there is someone on social media that needs the gift that you're carrying, the light that you are carrying. So it's time for you to show up and shine on social media.
Well done.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you. But literally, honestly, that's it. I think it's time that we invaded the social media world and stop avoiding it, stop running away from it. I was looking at some statistics today and there are over 4 billion people on social media. And a lot of those people so happen to be our young people. Our young people are consuming a lot of content on social media. So if we keep saying that social media is evil, we don't want to get anywhere near it, well, guess what? Our young people will keep consuming evil, because who's there to bring the light? So why not be the woman that champions light on social media? By coming on and telling your story, by coming on and sharing your product, sharing your service, by coming on and sharing a word of encouragement that will lift someone, that will give somebody hope, that will bring peace to somebody's situation, that will bring joy to somebody. You don't know what people are going through. There's people out there. Some of them, yes, they're just looking at your social media. They're not liking, they're not commenting.
But they're watching.
They're watching and they're taking something away. So what are you going to bring to the table? So I want to help you to start showing up consistently, because the more consistent you are, the greater the impact you can make.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. And on that note, I think we're going to call it a day.
Yes, it's about time.
So thank you very much to everyone that joined us today. If you want to know more about the Kingdompreneurs Network, we have a brunch coming up on the 15th of July. It's a time where we have a feast of food, and we also do some learning and just some networking, some conversational networking. So do register. It's going to be in the City of London. Register. We're going to share more details about it on our social media pages, but look out for the information. So thank you once again, and God bless you.
God bless you. See you next week. Cheers now.